Test check 1 2. Test check 1 2.
Debbie, can you go ahead and take a roll call, including legal counsel?
I'm going to start the recording first.
Thank you.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, Ms. McEwen, can you take a roll call, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Thornton?
Present.
Vice Chair Sharman?
Present.
Mr. Patterson?
Present.
Mr. Hunt?
Present.
Ms. Schneider?
Present.
Ms. Ryan?
Present.
We have a quorum confirmed, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go ahead and call to order the Construction Committee meeting for Tuesday, July 28th, 2020. Due to the COVID-19, the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority is adhering to a business distancing operational plan. Please note that all Construction Committee meetings from today until further notice will be held virtually. If you'd like to address this committee at the meeting on an agenda item being considered, please contact Recording Secretary Debbie McEwen at dmcEwen@goa.org or 407-825-3826, no less than 24 hours in advance of the meeting.
How you doing?
For individuals who are conducting lobbying activities with the Aviation Authority employees or board members, be reminded that registration with the Aviation Authority is required each year prior to doing any lobbying activities, in that any expenses incurred with those lobbying activities should be reported to the Aviation Authority before April 1st of each year. Also, for those of business before the committee today, be reminded that any appeals of a decision made by the Construction Committee must be filed with the Chief Executive Officer within 5 business days and no later than 4 p.m. on the 5th business day from the rendering of that decision. So we'll go ahead and get started with the change orders. Change order 1A, BPS 175. Who has S175 South Terminal Quick Turnaround Facilities?
Christina.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. This is Christina Taylor, and this is change order number 1 for BPS 175. Due to unintended consequences, the SCC QTA project had to be terminated back in May. And therefore, this is the final change order settlement. Item number 1 is to provide labor and equipment, which we removed the steel canopy columns on the project that were erect, and that converts FCO number 1, and that's for $19,238.78. Item number 2 was to sleeve those anchor bolts for the canopy columns so they didn't rust. We lowered the rebar below the grade, and we backfilled the footer excavations for safety of the site. And we also relocated some steel bollards and camera poles from the actual job site over to Tradeport storage for long-term storage over there. And that FCO converted in the amount of $25,022.02. Item number 3 was to reduce the contract amount to McCree, and that is included with a McCree settlement amount, including material that GOA purchased and is currently stored in both Tradeport and HBJ warehouse safely, and whatever needed to be dried is at HBJ, and whatever did not need to be dried was at Tradeport. And that deduct amount was for $20,035,057.15. And it looks like there's a comma on the documentation, which will be corrected to a period there. This gives the overall deductive change order amount of $19,990,796.35. And I know RW Block tried to get us at the $20 million, so we got as close as we could. And I just want to thank the team, Todd Nolan, Scott Sheedick, Karen Ryan, and El Filpo for all of their help in getting us to this position. So thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah, this is Mike Patterson. There was a handout passed around yesterday for item 1A, additional backup And you might want to check that because it lists the two FCOs and it has a detail of the costs, and it doesn't add up to the current FCO costs that are in the current change order. It's just something you need to
Yes. Yeah, that backup was provided. It was requested from RW Block to provide an estimate. Those were the not to exceed amounts that were originally provided from McCree. And as you can see on item 1 and 2, we were well under those amounts. So we just provided that backup to them per the request, but we can edit it as necessary.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, this
Mike
is
Patterson,
Kathleen.
I make a motion. Go ahead.
If you move it, I'll second it, Mike.
Yeah, this is Mike Patterson. Make a motion to approve item 1A.
Second. Kathleen.
We have a motion from Mr. Patterson, a second from Ms. Sharman. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yay, Mr. Chairman.
Motion passes. Great job to the GOA team. Also, a thanks to McCree and their subs for, cooperating with a very difficult situation. So moving on to item 1B, BP 484.
Hi, good morning. This is Jamie McGonigal with PCI. BP 44 is the cooling tower replacement project at the west side of the terminal. This is change order 1 and has 6 items to it. The first item replaces field change order number 1, which was to replace the existing sump drain for cooling towers 8 and 9 with an owner-furnished drain valve. Item 2 is for contract required concrete and soils testing, which was to verify that the existing soil and concrete conditions could support the new cooling towers, and this was per the testing allowance. Item 3 is a reconciliation of the testing allowance and reduces that allowance down to 0. Item 4 is to replace 4 sump pump strainer baskets. After we had started the project, we found that the existing strainers that are down in the underwater sumps that keep debris from entering the pumps were severely corroded. So this is a owner request to replace the existing strainers with stainless steel basket strainers. Item 5 is for the installation of balancing valves. There is a spec that identifies what balancing valves are. However, there were no balancing valves that were shown on the drawings, and the contractor did not include the balancing valves with their price. So this item was marked as a design omission, and these balancing valves are needed to be able to control the flow of the chill water through the cooling towers. And then item 6 is an owner request to repaint the existing piping for the A and B side cooling tower areas. The pricing includes blasting the old coating down to metal and then recoating with 1 coat of primer and 2 top coats with a product that is made for a corrosive environment like the one that the cooling towers are in.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman, Kathleen, I have a question for RW Block. Did you get the backup you needed? I know you were waiting on some small information last night.
Kathleen, this is Jamie. Obviously not RW Block, but I know the backup that you're looking for. We've been asking for backup for some of the fairly minor expenses. Unfortunately, the Terracon project manager has been out last week and this week, but just to let you all know that these expenses that we are looking to back up are fairly minor in nature, but they're for drilling supplies that were needed in the field when they were taking the concrete samples, then also for laboratory supplies that were needed for the analysis of the concrete.
Okay. If you could just, when he gets back provide that information? I know it's a fairly small amount, just so our files are complete. I'd appreciate it.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Further questions?
It's Denise. I'll make a motion to approve.
This is Gary Hunt. I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Schneider, second by Mr. Hunt. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton?
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Aye.
Mr. Hunt?
Aye.
Ms. Schneider?
Aye.
All votes are yay, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, motion passes. Item 1C, BP 486.
Good morning. This is Ben Brown. Item number 3 is change order 5 for BP 486 for $170,488.28. This is an interim quantity adjustment to allow us to pay out several pay items for paving and lighting as the contractor finishes the work. We expect to reconcile this at the end of the job. You can see this is only a handful of quantities. We'll reconcile all the couple hundred quantities at the end. And we're currently tracking a net credit for the final quantities, but a few of these had to be adjusted so that we could pay them on a monthly basis as the work was finished.
Ben, I've got a couple of questions. When is the projected completion date now?
The current projected substantial completion date is September 23rd, which would be the runway open date.
Okay. Are we on a path to get there, or is that questionable?
No, we're on a path to get there. I think that is more of a worst case date. They're tracking ahead or at that date now.
And so is there any extension of cost coming as the date has moved out?
We have maybe to look at some minor extension to the CA services and the OAR services, but really there's no justification for the extra time, so I don't expect anything from the contractor side.
Okay, thank you. Other questions?
Yeah, it's Mike Patterson. I make a motion to approve item 1C.
This is Gary Hunt. I'll second.
A motion by Mr. Patterson, a second by Mr. Hunt. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton?
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman?
Aye.
Mr. Patterson?
Aye.
Mr. Hunt?
Aye.
Ms. Schneider?
Aye.
All votes are yay, Chairman Thornton.
Okay, motion passes. Moving on to item 1D, BP 488.
Good morning. This is Scott Shedeck. Item 1D is change order 13 for BP 488. 6 items in this change order. First one is to provide the labor, materials, and equipment to relocate 5 reverse flow CCTV cameras that monitor the B-side exit lane. We had the camera relocation in the base contract. After we got into construction, we were informed by IT and security that these had special programming on that with Cognify, and that's what's in this item is for the Cognify cost to program and aim the cameras. The second item is to provide labor, materials, and equipment to provide fiber optic cabling between the new TSA comm room on the A side level 4 and the B side level 3 inside OPD to provide redundant fiber connections between the A and B screening pods. This also included relocation of 12 CCTV cameras to provide better camera views for TSA after the original installation. Item 3 is to provide labor, materials, and equipment as a result of Bulletin 2 electrical changes, which were related to the future video wall, which included installing additional 1-inch and 2-inch conduits through the checkpoint area and some other changes to avoid future construction inside the new checkpoint associated with that video wall. Item 4 is to provide labor, material, and equipment to place 2 non-working water fountains near the B-side exit lane. Item 5 is to provide labor, materials, and equipment to re-insulate chilled water line tie-in locations for air handler 33. This was after the ACM abatement was completed. Item 6 is to provide labor, materials, and equipment to re-insulate some roof drain piping that at the tie-in location that was after ACM abatement was completed. This is back in the APM area.
Questions?
Scott, this is Mike Patterson. This is about your last change order, getting close?
We are working on a final change order.
Okay.
It should be in a couple weeks.
In this form, that presented bulletins that says 2, that just needs to be N/A.
Okay.
With that, this is Mike Patterson. Make a motion to approve item 1D.
Gary Hunt, I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Patterson, and second by Mr. Hunt. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton?
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman?
Yes.
Mr. Patterson?
Aye.
Mr. Hunt?
Aye.
Ms. Schneider?
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Motion passes. Moving on to item 1E, BP 491.
Good morning, this is Scott Shedeck again. Item 1E is change order 10 for BP 491. There's 5 items in this change order. The first item is to provide labor, materials, and equipment to install additional conduit to support the required TSA security system and the level 3 TSA office space. This was something that we learned about after we started the project, and it was a requirement for TSA to be able to occupy the office space. This also includes credit for the base contract access control system that was to be installed. Item 2 is to provide labor, materials, and equipment to install additional 1.5-inch condensate line piping for the fan coil units installed in the level 3 TSA office space. This was due to the existing condensate piping being undersized from the as-builts. Item 3 is to provide labor, materials, and equipment to program the duress system at the west checkpoint, which included testing and programming of all existing duress equipment in the expanded checkpoint for TSA acceptance. We did coordinate this work with work that was being done at the east checkpoint duress system to provide some cost savings to GOA. Item 4 is to provide labor, materials, and equipment to install 2 additional lights along the new rooftop emergency egress path per the City of Orlando inspection comments. Item 5 is to provide labor materials to install temporary host training space on level 1 A side near the new TSA office. This was required due to resequencing of construction to infill the existing emergency egress stairwell for this space and construct a new level 4 emergency egress path. The resequencing of construction eliminated one of the emergency egress paths for the existing host training area inside that Chili's restaurant.
Questions?
Gary, I'll second.
A motion by Mr. Hunt, second by Ms. Schneider. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton?
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman?
Aye.
Mr. Patterson?
Aye.
Mr. Hunt?
Aye.
Ms. Schneider?
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton. The motion passes. Moving on to item 1F, PS 329.
Good morning. Good morning. It's Greg Watson, Gold Construction. This is the 16th change order for PS 329, which is a parking access and revenue control system. Essentially what it does is makes the warranty period in effect ultimately expiring prior to an acceptance milestone. The original intent was to, the chronological order was to install the system, go through a comprehensive testing, and have final acceptance. And then after that, you would have 1-year warranty period. However, final acceptance wasn't really established as expected, and the equipment's been in production for a couple of years. So final acceptance is close, but technically the manufacturer warranty is expiring, or it has expired, depending on the component in question. So the revised language will allow the warranty period to expire either on December 31, 2020, or at final acceptance, whichever comes latter. It's a no-cost change order. It's simply to adjust the language of the warranty.
So, Greg, is this just on hardware then, not on the software system itself?
No, it is. It's hardware and software.
Greg, this is Mike Patterson. I'm assuming Ski Data has accepted this?
Correct. Eric, I believe, is on. He can answer any questions that I'm unable to, but yeah, this has been negotiated, and both legal departments have reviewed it.
So is Ski Data the one giving us the warranty then versus the manufacturer of the equipment?
Eric, are you on?
Yes.
Ski Data is the warranty for the Ski Data components, but there's multiple types of hardware and software that's integrated into the system. So like Cisco routers and switches, and then they have Ski Data gates, and so it's a vast amount of equipment and software, all of which have a warranty period from the manufacturer that Ski Data has to cover, typically 1 year after final acceptance. Eric can chime in there and add to that if there is anything.
No, that's correct. You're right on the head.
So just maybe to summarize, instead of it as originally planned going 1 year after final acceptance because of the circumstances, we're going to just make sure Ski Data covers it until December, the end of December, or whenever we do get final acceptance, whichever is later. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you read through it, I mean, it's comprehensive, but to summarize the backup that came along with it, if final acceptance is signed off prior to December 31, 2020, then the warranty will expire December 31, 2020. If final acceptance hasn't been reached by December 31, 2020, then the warranty will expire on final acceptance, which would be after December 31, 2020. However, I think it's expected to be accepted prior to December date.
Yeah,
very close.
This is Eric. We are in the final stages of final acceptance. As far as testing and all of that, that's all complete. We're working through a maintenance agreement, which is required for final acceptance. That has to get to purchasing 60 days prior to final acceptance, and it still has to go to legal. So we are targeting the end of the year. And so, in essence, once the warranty runs out, the maintenance agreement starts.
But not until they reach final acceptance.
Correct. You have to have the maintenance agreement in place for final acceptance. Once we reach final acceptance, your warranty would run out and your maintenance agreement would begin immediately.
Got it.
And I guess the delays were everybody had a part in it, right? So that's why we're okay with accepting this. It was not just Ski Data.
No, it wasn't just Ski Data. We had some delays on our part for redundancy issues. We had to get a second ring in. Things like that caused some delays. There were some. They did have delays, but most of those they've worked through and corrected the problems. In essence, we've been using this system for about 3 years with very minor issues.
Okay, understood. Okay. I don't know. I don't want to steal anyone's motion if someone was about to make one, but
So I got one more question for Eric. So Eric, when do we think we're going to be done with the change to go to live transactions?
The live, we're going to be testing at West Park next week. Ski Data is testing the software this week, just in their own little world, and then we're going to test at West Park more of a real testing. So we should be ready. I would expect us to be ready to give it to you and Phil when you want to really roll it out, sometime probably mid-August.
So is there any equipment or any warranties associated with that change, or is it just all
no, that's really just it.
Software.
I mean, there's no hardware involved. It's all a software package. So we'll have, I think there's some warranty in there as far as if there's a problem, they've got to fix it. But it's technically a software package that they've worked with CFX to develop.
All right, I want to make sure when you hit that you include Kathleen. She's very familiar with the direct or the live transaction component.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Now we're ready for a motion.
I'll recommend approval.
This is Denise, I'll second.
We have a motion by Ms. Sharman, a second by Ms. Schneider. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Motion passes. Moving on to item 1G, D943.
Yes, good morning. This is Niels Johnson. This is change order number 3 to project V943. And this change order strengthens the existing steel support system for the grates that are installed within Bombardier's maintenance platform. It also includes some concrete repairs around the steel grate for lane 4800.
Questions?
This is Mike Patterson. I make a motion to approve item 1G. Gary Hunt, second.
Motion by Mr. Patterson, second by Mr. Hunt. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Yes.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
The motion passes. Moving on to South Terminal items 2A through 2R.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. This is Don Cortell. We have 18 items today for the South Terminal Complex. 10 items are for HP and 8 items are for TK. Items 2D and 2L are deferred. Following items do take into consideration the cuts for the South Terminal Complex program. They are deemed important to maintain the current budget and schedule. Item 2A is a subcontract modification to the Middlesex Corporation in GMP 5S2, landside civil under TK, in the amount of $6,788. This is CM contingency and buyout for providing 100 linear feet of water line with gate valves in an effort to obtain early release and FDEP clearance. Item 2B is a subcontract modification to TNT Construction of Central Florida and Banker Steel Company, LLC, in GMP 6S1 airside concourse under HP in the amount of $91,490. This is owner contingency and is for additional steel column wraps and concrete to protect the structural columns from damage from baggage tugs. Item 2C is a subcontract modification to Banker Steel Company, LLC, in GMP 6S1 airside concourse under HP in the amount of $12,804. This is owner contingency. This is for additional steel edging to extend the flat edge at passenger boarding bridges 240 and 250. Item 2D is deferred. Item 2E is a subcontract modification to BCI Incorporated in GMP 6S1 airside concourse under HP in the amount of $4,346. This is owner contingency for additional light gauge metal flashing where the metal panels abut the curtain wall to conceal the sub panels. Item 2F is a subcontract modification to the Berg Electric Corp in GMP 6S2 airside concourse under HP in the amount of $155,043. This is owner contingency and is for BHS updates for a new distribution panel, as well as reconfiguring an existing distribution panel, and includes all the infrastructure associated. Item 2G is a subcontract modification to Berg Electric Corp in GMP 6S2 airside concourse under HP in the amount of $16,633. This is owner contingency and is providing additional 4-inch underground raceways in lieu of overhead to alleviate infrastructure congestion. Work includes credits for the infrastructure not installed. Item 2H is a subcontract modification to Walmart Contracting Group, LLC, in GMP 6S2 airside concourse under HP in the amount of $6,784. This is owner contingency and is for additional framing and gypsum wallboard at 2 locations, storage room 40045 and the high roof at the LSP connection where modified wall partitions were required to meet field conditions. Item 2I is a subcontract modification of Building Services Group and Geol Engineering and Construction, Inc. in GMP 6S3 airside concourse under HP in the amount of $38,894. This is owner contingency and is for modified wall assemblies with installation and door and hardware packages at the concession bump out for 4 doors. Item 2J is a subcontract modification to Banker Steel Company, LLC, in GMP 7S landside terminal under TK in the amount of $83,146. This is owner contingency and is for additional detailing, fabrication, and install of steel embeds and beams and stairwell shafts for Bulletin 34, where CMU walls and ceiling were deleted and were replaced by shaft wall assemblies. Item 2K is a subcontract modification to Banker Steel Company, LLC, in GMP 7F landside terminal under TK in the amount of $2,451. This is owner contingency and is for additional steel for walkway nosing at stairs for BHS stairs and access. Item 2L is deferred. Item 2M is a subcontract modification to MSE2 Inc., DBA Mater Southeast, and Enclosed Corporation in GMP 7S1 landside terminal under TK in the amount of $478,942. This is owner contingency and is for modified wall types, metal framing, and glass enclosures associated with Bulletin 12. Item 2N is a subcontract modification to Taylor, Cotton, and Ridley in GMP 7S1 landside terminal under TK for a credit in the amount of $12,967. This is owner contingency for credits for door hardware packages for multiple locations throughout the LSD due to security changes. Item 2O is a subcontract modification to MSE2 Inc., DBA Mater Southeast, and GMP 9S1 parking garage under TK in the amount of $22,130. This is owner contingency to provide additional wall float material to provide allowable tolerances for stucco wall finishes. Item 2P is a subcontract modification to Procopo Coatings Company, LLC, in GMP 6S4 airside concourse under HP in the amount of $5,748. This is owner contingency and is for painting added column wraps throughout the baggage area where columns were encased with steel and concrete to protect from damaged tugs. Item 2Q is a subcontract modification to Liberty Conshore, LLC, in GNP. Excuse me, I've got a typo here. Item 2Q is MCD. My apologies. Item 2Q is a subcontract modification to MCD in GNP 7S3, landside terminal under TK for a credit in the amount of $2,789. This is owner contingency to delete neutral circuits not required from 14 electrical panels. Item 2R is a subcontract modification to Liberty Conshore, LLC, in GNP 6S6 airside concourse under HP in the amount of $1,585. This is buyout and it's for additional concrete to enlarge 2 pile caps.
Questions?
Hey, this is Mike Patterson. I'll make a motion to approve items 2A through 2C, 2E through 2K, and 2M through 2R. This is Gary Hunt. I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Patterson and a second by Mr. Hunt. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Okay, the motion passes. Item number 3, addendum to Hensel Phelps.
Good morning. This is Don Corthell. We have a couple of handouts, and there are CFOC requirements or dependency upon other amendments to complete these actions. I'll identify each of those as I present each amendment. Item 3 is a request for approval of amendment number 8 to addendum number 8 to the construction management at risk entity services for the South Terminal for Hensel Phelps in GNP 6S1 for a total of $1,387,557, and this requires CFOC action as well as it's dependent upon the reductions in item number 5.
This is Kathleen. I'll recommend approval.
Gary Hunt. I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Sharman, second by Mr. Hunt. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Motion passes. Moving on to item 4, amendment to Hensel Phelps.
Yes, sir. This is a request for approval of amendment number 8 to addendum number 13 to Hensel Phelps for the South Terminal in GNP 6S2 for a total of $320,205. This also requires CFOC action and is also dependent upon item number 5's reductions or deductions.
Kathleen Sharman, I recommend approval.
Denise, I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Sharman, second by Ms. Schneider. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Okay. Motion approved. Item 5, amendment to Hensel Phelps.
Yes, sir. This is amendment number 7 to addendum number 16 to Hensel Phelps in GNP 6S4 for a credit in the amount of $1,707,762, and this also requires the CFOC action.
Kathleen Sharman, recommend approval.
Denise, I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Sharman, second by Ms. Schneider. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Okay, motion passes. Item number 6, addendum to CMI.
Yes, sir. Item number 6 is a request for approval of an addendum to program and project management services for the South Terminal C Phase 1 agreement with Cost Management Inc. VACI by change service for fiscal year 21 WS 111. There's a not to exceed fee of $2,912,847.50, as well as not to exceed expenses for $33,000, for a total of $2,945,847.50.
Questions?
This is Mike Patterson. I make a motion to approve item 6.
Gary Hunt, I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Patterson, second by Mr. Hunt. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Motion passes. Moving on to item 7, request for approval of addendum to CMI.
Yes, sir. Item 7 has a handout. And this is, we recommend approval for addendum to the Program and Project Management Services for the South Terminal C, Phase 1 agreement with Cost Management Inc. CBA CMI provides construction phase technology consulting and support services for fiscal year 21 for WS 111. There's not to exceed fees based on the handout, $2,006,196. Not to exceed expenses, $37,200, for a total of $2,043,396.
Hey, Don, this is Denise. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I noticed on the list of consultants for Hahn Integrated that there is no hours for Neil Hahn.
Okay.
This is Devin. I'll take that, Mr. Chairman. So Neil is also part of PSA's proposal, is yet to come in the door.
So he'll show up under that proposal.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you guys were covered.
Completely covered. Thank you for your input.
So Kathleen, I have a question. I don't have the handout, so I just want to make sure the funding is correct. It should just be general airport revenue bonds, and that's it. The old one had customer facility charge and passenger facility charge. I don't know if that was corrected on the handout or not.
It was not. So we'll go ahead and strike customer facility charges and passenger facility charges, and it should just be general airport revenue bonds.
Bruce Can.
Bruce?
Oh, and also wait. This is subject to CFO3.
Okay. How long? Okay.
Hey, Bruce, can you mute? Hey, Kathleen, can you make that motion again?
Well, this is I was just giving you the revisions. It was no CFC and no PFD, strike that out, and it's also subject to CFOC. And if you need me to make a motion, I can do that as well.
And I'll second that motion. This is Gary Hunt.
A motion by Ms. Sharman, a second by Mr. Hunt. Roll call.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Okay, motion passes. Moving on to item 8, addendum for Construction Management Services, LLC.
Yes, sir. This is request approval, an addendum to the Program and Project Management Services for the South Terminal C Phase 1 agreement with Construction Management Services, LLC, DBA CMTS, LLC, provides construction phase OAR services for fiscal year 21 for WS 111. There is a not to exceed fees of $1,550,336, and there are no lump sum fees and there are not any not to exceed expenses either, for a total of $1,550,336.
So, Kathleen, do you want to strike the customer facility and passenger facility charges on this one?
I need to phone a friend on that. My notes are conflicting. So is someone from CF on the phone? Tell me that answer. There's one place I have to cancel it, and the other place I have not to. Tell you what, we'll bring you back an info item on the funding for that.
Okay.
And I believe this is also subject to, oh no, wait, no, not this one. We're good. We're good.
So a motion?
Mike Gary Hunt.
Can you tell me
Item 8. I'll second. Gary Hunt.
This is Kathy Anderson. Can we strike the DBA? Their agreement does not have a DBA for Construction Management Services, LLC.
Certainly.
Thank you.
So, amended motion that all right with you, Mr. Patterson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have a motion by Mr. Patterson, second by Mr. Hunt. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Okay, motion passes. Item number 9, addendum to Program Management Services with NV5, Inc. Also,
Yes, sir.
As page 1.
Yes, sir. And this item does require CFOC per my notes last night. Recommend approval for the addendum to Program and Project Management Services for the South Terminal C Phase 1 agreement with NV5, Inc. to provide construction phase OAR services for fiscal year 21 for WS 111, and not to exceed fees of $2,314,272. There are not any lump sum fees nor expenses, for a total of $2,314,272.
Question?
Then this is Kathleen. This one, the funding needs to be stricken, the CFC and PFC also.
So with that modification and subject to CFOC, I make a motion to approve item 9.
Gary Hunt, I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Patterson, second by Mr. Hunt. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Okay, motion passes. Item number 10, approval of revised FF&E and IT estimate due to reduction in scope of Phase 1X services.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. This is Tanya Merck. Item 10 is the request for approval of a revised FF&E and IT estimate due to the reduction of scope for Phase 1X and the GTF for WS-145, the owner-furnished FF&E and IT items. Due to the COVID-19, the authority has requested the budget reduction for the South Terminal program, and at this time, we have assessed the reductions for Phase 1X and the GTF based on the individual line item estimates for a total with freight contingency for a total of $5,847,085.87. After a final design is completed, the OAR team and GOA IT will assess the items required for the owner-furnished FF&E and IT list and the corresponding estimated costs required for providing functional systems. On page 2, you'll see the series of tables that includes that is from the July 21st meeting last week. And then the tables on page 3 show the updated executive summary tables that reflect the CCM item from last week, as well as the information items for the movement of various items to contingency, as well as the IT purchases to date and the residuals going to contingency, as well as the Phase 1X and GTF reduction. So that's what you have in this next series of tables. This results in a revised FF&E and IT estimate of $58,096,919.43.
Questions?
I believe this one is also subject to CFOC.
Yes, this is subject to CFOC at the August 4th CFOC next Tuesday.
With that, I'll recommend approval.
Mike Patterson, second.
Motion by Ms. Schneider, second by Mr. Patterson. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Motion passes. Item 11, IT purchases of UPS equipment utilization contingency funds.
Morning again, it's Tanya Merck. This item is a request for approval of an IT purchase for UPS equipment utilizing contingency funds from WS-145, the owner's FF&E and IT owner-furnished list. Since the approval of the owner-furnished FF&E and IT items, it's been determined that an additional item is needed for a UPS unit with battery and warranty for the emergency power generator building. The item has been bid, and the successful bidder is listed below, CDW-G, for a price of $3,178. We propose that this item procurement come from the contingency funds for the WS-145. You will see attachments include a contingency tracking log that is provided by the purchasing department that shows the reductions so far and movements to contingency, as well as there is additional detail for the use of the contingency funds in a worksheet. So with that, we request approval to authorize this purchase out of contingency.
This is Kathleen. I'll recommend approval. I'll second Kathleen's motion.
Motion by Ms. Sharman, second by Ms. Schneider. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
The motion passes. Item number 12, addendum to continuing horizontal construction services with Middlesex Corporation for H319.
Good morning, this is Ben Brown. H319 is a job order contract with Middlesex to pave along taxiways Bravo and Charlie in 5 locations, the largest of which is on taxiway Charlie in the area deleted last week from BP 486.
Questions?
Ben, this is Mike Patterson. I've seen it before. I didn't see it in the backup, but we're going to need an exhibit for this going to the board.
We have the locations, so I can make sure you get it.
Great. With that, I make a motion to approve item 12.
Second, Gary.
Motion by Mr. Patterson, second by Mr. Hunt. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Motion passes. All right, item number 13, continuing program agreement with A2 Group for H319.
Good morning, Ben Brown again. This is the OAR fee that accompanies item 12 for H319. This covers the portions that are outside the original limits of BP 486.
It's Mike Patterson. I make a motion to approve item 13.
Gary.
Denise, I'll second.
A motion by Mr. Patterson, second by Ms. Schneider. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Motion passes. Item 14, addendum number 125 for GCI for V943.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. This is Niels Johnson. This is a request for an approval of an amendment to addendum 125 for additional OAR inspection services. The additional hours are due to delays that we are currently experiencing on the project. So currently we're forecasting a delay of approximately 6 weeks.
Questions?
This is Mike Patterson. Nils, half of that is the weather, right?
Correct. Yes, we're tracking about 15 days of rain delay right now.
I think we had a motion by Mr. Hunt.
Mike Patterson.
Denise, I'll second.
Second by Ms. Schneider. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Yeah. Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Motion passes. Item 15 is for information. Anything the committee would like to pull off and consider?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have anything for item 15, but I'd like to return to item 8. I heard from my lifeline before we adjourn.
Okay, go
And
back to item 8.
Item 8, yeah, please delete the funding for CFCs and PFCs.
So we have an amended motion to remove that. Can I get a motion?
Yes, Mike Patterson. I amend the motion to approve item 8 to delete the customer facility charges and passenger facility charges.
Gary, and I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Patterson, second by Mr. Hahn. Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Sharman,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Schneider.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Okay, motion passes. So with that, we're adjourned. Thank you. Thank you.
Janet, Denise, are we going to stay on this call for PSD?
This
you
conference
have
is
to-
no longer being recorded.
You have to hang up so they can do separate recordings.
Okay.
Ready. With that, we'll go ahead and start the recording.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, can we take a roll call, please?
Chairman Thornton,
Present.
Vice Chair Ramaki,
Present.
Mr. Patterson,
Present.
Mr. Hunt,
Present.
Ms. LaRue,
Present.
Ms. Ryan.
Present.
We have a quorum confirmed, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. So with that, we'll call to order the Professional Services Committee for Tuesday, July 28, 2020. Due to the COVID-19, the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority is adhering to a business distancing operational plan. Please note that all Professional Services Committee meetings from today until further notice will be held virtually. If you'd like to address this committee at the meeting on agenda item being considered, please contact the recording secretary, Debbie McEwen, at dmcEwen@goa.org or 407-825-3826, no less than 24 hours in advance of the meeting. For individuals who are conducting lobbying activities with the Aviation Authority, employees or board members be reminded that registration with the Aviation Authority is required each year prior to conducting any lobbying activities, and that a statement of expenditures incurred in connection with those activities should be reported to the Aviation Authority prior to April 1st of each year. For those with business before the committee today, be reminded that any appeals of a decision made by the Professional Services Committee must be filed with the Chief Executive Officer within 5 business days and no later than 4 p.m. on the 5th business day from the rendering of that decision. So with that, we'll take up item number 1, which is the consideration of minutes for June 30th, 2020.
Yeah, this is Mike Patterson. We need to fix the spelling of specification in item 3 in the bold there, and with that, I'd make a motion to approve item 1.
Gary Hunt, I'll second.
A motion from Mr. Patterson, a second from Mr. Hunt. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Ramaki,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. LaRue.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Motion passes. Moving on to item 2, request for approval of an increase to the value of the purchasing agreement PS 316 parking revenue control system with Lumen Advisors.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the committee. This is Denise Schneider, purchasing. This is a recommendation to approve an increase for Lumen Advisors in the amount of $26,000 to assist with final testing and acceptance of the park system, the parking and revenue control system that just appeared on the construction agenda.
Question?
Mike Patterson, make a motion to approve item 2.
Gary Hunt, I'll second.
A motion by Mr. Patterson, a second by Mr. Hunt. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Chairman Thornton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Ramaki,
Aye.
Mr. Patterson,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. LaRue.
Aye.
All votes are yea, Chairman Thornton.
Okay, that concludes our agenda for today. So with that, we're adjourned. Thank you.
This conference is no longer being recorded.